Welcome to This Is My Architecture. Today we're talking to Philip from Brooks Brothers. Welcome, Philip. Tell us a little bit about Brooks Brothers.
Sure, we're a fashion company founded almost 200 years ago in 1818, and we sell suits and shirts through retail and wholesale and web e-commerce throughout the world.
Nice. Now today we're talking about your SAP journey on AWS. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure, so our journey initially started with the customer activity repository on SAP HANA and also the customer relationship management solution running on SAP HANA. And we built these out in AWS because we needed speed to market.
Okay.
We needed to reduce the time cycle for development. So we created multiple instances. This is just our production environment at the moment, but we created multiple instances of these for developers offshore, onshore, for SAP themselves to do testing.
So developing multiple instances of the environment allowed you to speed up your time to market?
It did, and particularly because building an SAP HANA environment in our legacy on-premise data center, for example, would have required us to do an awful lot of integration work ourselves. Here we could use the Amazon Quick Start solution.
You use the HANA Quick Start to build the back-end databases?
That's right. So it's almost one click, not quite, but
Yeah.
You do that, and now you have environments that are consistent, and you can build out multiple environments to connect your EC2 instances to it.
So you have multiple developers working on multiple environments in parallel.
You got it.
Excellent. Now, your SAP HANA environment, what type of instances are you using to support this?
Sure. So, up here we have X1, and here we have R3 8X large, and we also have the same here. But down here in our supply chain management solution, we started with an R3, but we fairly quickly found that that wasn't sufficient. And so we were able to bring down the environment and move it to the new R4 16X large.
So these
instance types.
These are really big instance types. What sort of data are you keeping in these databases?
Sure. So the supply chain management, it used to be APO, right?
Yep.
That stores and processes all of your plans for logistics so that you can optimize the delivery of products through your supply chain into the warehouses.
And it's all stored in memory as well.
All in memory, so that you can run multiple simultaneous plans if you need to and do comparisons. In the FMS system, right, so every single one of our product SKUs.
And that's fashion management system.
Fashion management. This is the transactional heart and soul of the business. And so currently we're using regular X1, but we need to migrate to X1E in the middle of next year.
So you need to go to how many terabytes?
At least 4.
4 terabytes.
Yes.
What kind of data requires 4 terabytes of memory?
So as we expand in additional markets, so at the moment our FMS environment has all of the European data in there, but we're also bringing in Far East, Australia, and Japan, and North America.
So these new instance types allow you to expand globally using the same back-end environment.
They do, and it enables you to have consistency of your master data across all the regions. So in the past, you might have had multiple environments, each serving a different region, but then you have version mismatches, and this enables us to be totally consistent.
And it's very common to have a production support environment as well with SAP, but you haven't needed that after moving to the cloud. Can you explain that to us as well?
Sure. So anytime we need a special environment, whether it's for some gold work or production support, we can clone whichever piece of the environment we need. So we do have a standing quality and a standing dev environment that are replicas, not necessarily same instance types, but from a application stack, they're replicas. But again, just a matter of hours and we can have a clone of one of these environments.
And you can clone this environment because the entire environment is built in CloudFormation?
Correct.
So on-premises users and need to access the environment. How do they access this?
Sure. So we obviously have different client types. So we've got point of sale in our retail stores, and we have people using just regular PCs and laptops in our corporate offices. They're all connected together through an SD-WAN, and that SD-WAN connects into our data centers. And those data centers write a direct connect into the VPCs sitting out at Amazon.
Okay. And most of your new systems are being built in the cloud. Can you explain how they're built and how they access the environment?
Sure, let's use an example of our new retail app suite.
Yep.
So this is a no-code platform running on EC2 instances, and we were able to build that environment out in again multiple instances. And so the solutions that sit there, they automatically have access to everything in the VPCs that are hosting the SAP environment.
Yep.
But we have seamless security, right? We've built all of these connections so that we can scale. We've got gigabit bandwidth,
Yep.
two separate paths in, so we can continue to build out things in our second VPC that are non-SAP. We can build out more SAP landscape here.
And I see you've got an ELB here. Can you explain the purpose of the ELB?
Sure. So we also built out a loyalty platform with a third-party supplier.
Yeah.
And we have APIs and web interfaces into that. But we want access at the point of sale. So we can't connect from a point of sale without another direct connect straight into the third-party
Yeah.
VPC. So we ride an ELB sitting within one of our VPCs into these back-end systems.
And you terminate SSL here so you can encrypt the
That's
communications and cardholder data right through the flow?
So there's no cardholder data in that flow, but there is customer personally identifiable information.
So this worked really well for the loyalty provider. Now this is able to be extended to other providers. It really is an extensible architecture.
That's right. So we can grow either by existing providers that connect from our side through the ELB, or we can add providers in through the API or the web gateways, potentially even additional VPC peering in the future if we want to keep that end-to-end security in an environment that we're controlling.
Wow, that's a really great story. Thank you for coming in today to tell us about your SAP journey. And thank you for joining us on This Is My Architecture.